Let's see, it's loading. Okay, perfect. We are live.
All right, great.
Perfect. Hello, everybody. Sorry, we were having some tech issues at the beginning. I have David Howard Thornton today on the show. Thank you very much, David, for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me and putting up with me with all this technological nonsense.
It's all good. We're going to use David on Skype today. His Google Hangouts is all messed up, but Skype is working perfectly, so we're going to go ahead and interview him on Skype. All right. Okay, so we have a few people watching right now. So if anyone has any questions for David, just leave any questions in the chat. Michael's here, and he had a good question for you too, and he's a big fan of Terrifier.
Awesome.
All right, so let's get into it. So, how did you get in the acting field in the film industry?
Oh wow, that's a long story. I'll try to condense it though. I mean, like, I basically started out acting as like a little kid. I was like, my parents were very involved with our church's theater, and so they had me doing like church theater as a kid.
Oh, really?
And oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Little plays about Jesus, as you do growing up in the South.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I don't miss it. Yeah, and I started doing that, and I kind of fell away from it for a while. But I was when I got to middle school, I went to a new school, so I didn't know anybody, and I was really shy, and I was your stereotypical little nerdy child, like glasses, braces, short, high pitched voice, all that kind of stuff, easy target for bullies. So I was bullied a lot, and that kind of made me withdraw into my shell more. But when I was like home and around friends and stuff like that, I was really goofy and funny. And my mom's like, I wish all these kids you go to school with, all these other people could see this side of you.
Exactly.
It's like, have you ever thought about doing theater?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, so she encouraged me to start auditioning for like the local theater groups, which I did. And it took me a few tries, and I finally got cast. And it was like something clicked in my head. I was like, oh wow, I like this. Especially when I discovered I could get people to laugh with me instead of at me. That was such a game changer for me.
Oh, for sure.
A new love was born right there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I just cultivated everything over the years. I actually didn't go to school for theater. I actually got a degree in teaching.
Oh, wow.
Elementary school. Yeah, but I'm not doing that anymore.
Just reconnecting, guys.
Why am I going to waste my time just teaching in a classroom when I feel like there's more out there in the world for me?
Exactly.
So I was like, what? Yeah. So I was just like, why don't I give this a shot and see what happens? So, I moved up here to New York, and I spent years doing off-Broadway shows, and like I did a few tours, national tours, like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical.
Mm-hmm.
Did some, voiceovers, and it all kind of led into doing film. It just like everything, just one thing connect to another, to another. So it's just like, I've just been going along for the ride.
Oh, that's very cool. It definitely sounds like you've had quite the journey.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. Definitely, it's like it's beat all my expectations too. It's like, because I knew going into this that acting is not necessarily the most stable career path in the world. Mm-hmm. There's so much uncertainty there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, might as well take a gamble.
For sure. Always take risks. Yeah. See what happens. And now you're a scary clown in a movie that everyone loves.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
It is crazy. Well, actually, like right now, I'm planning for next year to go back to school for film. I want to get into that field. What advice would you give someone that wants to get into the film industry and make indie films?
I would say, first off, network as much as possible. Get to know people that are in the industry. If you're an actor, try to get to know casting directors and, of course, other actors. Because so many things I have gotten myself, I have gotten, like, even my managers and all my reps, and a lot of jobs I've gotten through friends, just networking, just referrals.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's always a good thing to do. Take classes as much as you can, and, just, put yourself out there and just be persistent.
For sure.
It took me 12 years to get to where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
It's I was persistent. It's like, because you get told no so many times.
Exactly.
I don't know how many times I've been told no.
Mm-hmm.
But just take that one. Just take that one.
Exactly. So you didn't go to school for film then, did you? You went to school for teaching, but then you were also, like, when you were younger, you were doing all the musical theater and doing all that stuff, and then that's how you got into this?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I just learned, instead of going to school for it, I just learned from those that were, more seasoned than I was. Learn from the best.
Exactly.
That's what I did.
Wow.
I've had to learn a lot of the other sides of the business after, getting into it. The things they don't even teach you in classrooms. It's like, oh, wow, there's a whole new beast to all this.
Oh, exactly. No, it's a lot to take in for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Now, would you recommend somebody to go to film school if they want to get into the industry? I've heard a lot of mixed things, because most times it's about networking people but then other times people do go to school and they also, I think it's probably just more information when you go to school and you have more hands-on experience.
Right. It's like it wouldn't hurt at all.
No.
You're still learning, and that's the important thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That makes a lot of sense. Very interesting. And I saw that you did a lot of voice work. I actually watched your video where you did over 100 impressions in 10 minutes, which is amazing. I know that was a while back, 2011, but you're very talented. Can you tell us more about your voice work, and have you done anything with that?
Yeah. That video is when I was on tour with the Grinch at the time, my first year. And we had spent we were recording vocal tracks for the show for some of the announcements and stuff like that. And I was in there and I was just doing different character voices for it. They were just playing around with me. It's like, hey, do this as a droopy dog. I'm okay, just doing whatever. And my production team was like, have you ever thought about just filming yourself doing all these voices? And I'm like, no, but might as well. So I decided to do that while I was on the road. I had just actually gotten over a bad case of bronchitis, and it was my last night on tour. And it's like, okay, I have to do this now. It's now or never.
Exactly.
So I did it then, and because of that video, that really helped launch a lot of my voiceover career, because I had given that to a few casting directors, and they're like, "Oh, wow, we want to bring you in for certain projects."
Oh, that's amazing.
To audition. So yeah, it opened doors for me. From
just seeing that video on YouTube?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your
it was really cool.
What's your favorite impression that you do? What's the one that you like doing the most?
Oh God. That's such a Sophie's choice in a lot of ways. They're all like my babies. Yeah, I would say the one I was really well known for, especially back in Alabama, was my Don Knotts / Barney Fife. Andy.
I love Don Knotts.
Yeah.
Ghost and Mr. Chicken was my favorite growing up.
What was that?
A Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Incredible Mr. Olympic, Apple Dumpling Gang, all of that. He was great. He's such a great character actor, just an iconic sounding voice too.
He sure was.
There's those actors out there that are like that. Oh yeah, that's oh yeah, that's definitely Christopher Walken, or
Oh, for sure, yeah, he was a legend.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome, though. That's very impressive. You're very talented. How did you come across the part for Art the Clown?
Well, that one I had already been familiar with the character, because I had seen All Hallows Eve a few years prior, and I loved the character immediately. I was like, oh, what a cool character! He's like an evil Mr. Bean. I would love to play a character like that. And so I saw this posting. I was actually without a job at the time, and I saw this posting on Actors Access, which is an audition website for actors.
Yeah.
and it was looking for a 6 foot something tall male that has clowning or physical comedy experience for the quote unquote role of a lifetime as Art the Clown. And I was like, oh my God, that guy. Yeah. And I contacted my reps and like, submit me. I know I can book this.
Mm-hmm.
And they did.
Wow, that's so cool. That's awesome. How was it? How was it to film without any dialogue?
That was definitely a challenge because, you know, we were talking about my voiceover career. That's always been my biggest tool set that I've relied on as an actor. Is like every role I play, I try to use a different voice because I just hate, you know, I want to play different characters, and I think, you know, the voice of the characters makes a character distinct from one another. And that was all taken away from me. It's like, damn you, Damien.
Yeah.
You took away my biggest skill set. So I was like, yeah, I had to just go into my, you know, vast encyclopedic knowledge of like old school physical comedy comedians from like the silent film age, or like I said, Mr. Bean, and pull from that instead.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a good challenge. It was a fun challenge, though.
Oh, for sure. You did a great job.
A unique character. Oh, yeah. I mean, luckily I had like Mike Gianelli's original portrayal of the character to go off of, so that gave me a good starting place. But I wanted to add my own to the character as well, especially because like, Mike actually doesn't have like experience in clowning or anything like that. He was just like a friend of Damien's. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. So like, I wanted to bring what I knew into that role, especially since he is a clown. I mean, that's got to be an instrumental part of who he is.
Exactly.
So,
wow, that's very interesting. Now, this is the one of the question I had out of most other movies, because I've seen both All Hallows Eve and Terrifier. I actually saw Terrifier before All Hallows Eve. But what living form is art?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
What living form is art?
What living form is art? I know the answer to that question, but we want to explore more of that in like, you know, the future films. I don't want to totally give it away, but I mean, I think if you look at some of the past films, there are clues into what he is or who he is. And I look more at like Terrifier is more of his origin story in a lot of ways. As you know, because of what happens at the end of the movie, I think that's like, oh, okay, now.
Exactly.
I think, you know, now something's really about to start happening with this character.
Exactly. He's like Michael Myers. He never dies.
Right. But we want to explain, explore, you know, in future films how.
Exactly.
Why, you know, that. This is more like, you know, this film, I look at this way, it's like, this was the world's introduction to the character, not just in our world, but like the film world. Like, this, like, I look at it this way, that was this first night going on a rampage, at least for those people in that community. So this was something new to them. So they're in the dark about who this guy is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is there any talks about making like a sequel?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, Damien's been in the process of writing it as we speak. He's almost finished writing it. So we're hoping to find, you know, not distributors, but you know, people to help us produce the next one. Like, because, you know, the original Terrifier was such a low budget film, and, you know, we have bigger ideas for the sequels, and we need more funding.
Exactly.
To do what we want to do. So we're hoping a bigger studio is going to pick us up this time.
Hopefully that happens.
We've kind of proven ourselves.
I hope that happens. That'd be amazing. I would love to see more of his story and of this, because it's definitely a fun ride.
Oh yeah, and we intentionally made it that way. We knew going into it. Yes, it's light on plot. Yes, it's light on character development. But we were doing this as a loving homage to the original like slasher B movies from the 70s and 80s.
Exactly.
Which were light on plot,
exactly,
light on character development, really cheesy dialogue. It was like but it was all about those films were more about the roller coaster ride and just having fun.
Exactly.
You know, not taking yourself too seriously and just having fun with this.
Exactly.
And that's what we would try to do.
Yeah, well, you definitely accomplished it because you guys did a great job.
Oh, thank you. It's funny how some people aren't getting that. They're like, "Oh, it doesn't have much of a plot." I'm like, I know.
But it's fun. That's the thing.
Tell me the plot to Friday the 13th right off the top of your head. Go ahead, tell me.
Exactly. Well, actually, about the film too, it's fun because like I haven't seen a because I know that Damien, the director, he also did the special effects. I haven't seen practical effects getting used that much until I saw this movie. Because nowadays it's all CGI.
Yeah, that's all Damien that didn't. He did all of that himself. Which probably saved us so much money on the budget as well because he did it himself, so he didn't have to hire anybody to do it. And of course, it's cheaper to do that than CG.
Exactly.
And it works better, I think. You know,
it does
because it's something that's tangible. There's actually something there.
Exactly. No, it was outstanding job. Especially everyone knows with the girl getting cut in half. That was nuts. And there's just so many other ones, even like chopping spoiler alert, but when the guy's head got chopped off, the other at the building, what was it, the janitor? Or he was the bug guy.
Yeah, the
Exterminator. Yeah. No, that was nuts. And like when you see all these special effects in this film, it's crazy because you never see that anymore.
No, you really don't. And I think that's why we want to do that. It's like you don't see that. But you had that all the time back then because that's all they had.
Exactly.
And they had to get really creative on how they accomplished those effects back in the day, especially with the smaller budget film. And we got really creative ourselves. So.
You sure did. That was definitely a great job. How does it be now? Because you see a lot of people now are mentioning that Art the Clown is pretty much a new horror icon in the genre. How do you feel about getting called a new horror icon within this genre?
That's very, very surreal for me because this is all completely new to me anyway. It's just, it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind because I love the old films with like Freddy and Jason, Mike Myers, Chucky, all those guys. I'm like, those guys, to me are icons. Everybody knew who Freddy Krueger was when I was a kid, and it's so weird being compared to them. It's very humbling because that's who especially Freddy. He's the one I took a lot of inspiration from anyway. Because Robert Englund knew how to balance the horror with the humor very well.
Exactly.
And so I actually got to meet a lot of those guys back when I was in Arizona at Mad Monster Party doing the convention there. That was my very first convention appearance.
Oh, wow.
And all those guys are there, like Kane Hodder, Robert Englund, Tyler Mane was there, Lance Henriksen, all these guys that I grew up idolizing. And it was weird being associated with them. Like, we're all hanging out together. I'm like, this is weird. I felt like, I almost didn't feel like I belonged.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm the new kid on the block.
That's amazing, though. That must be such a good feeling. It's crazy.
Wow, Damien and I were both there. We're just constantly, I cannot believe this is happening. It's like that's Robert Englund sitting at the table next to us. Oh my God.
And these are ones you grew up with too. You grew up with all these classic slashers.
Yeah. It's and we really haven't had any really good slashers since Scream.
No, not at all.
It's like they've tried, but they haven't had charismatic villains. They've been sugarcoating everything. They've dumbed down the kills and lost a lot of the fun. They've tried to be too clever with plots and stuff like that, and they've lost the fun factor to it all.
Exactly.
Which is a shame.
It is a shame. But I'm glad it's coming back now. I look forward to part 2 of Terrifier. That would be amazing.
Oh, we got some nut like just crazy ideas. It's just absolutely nuts. It's absolutely nuts. I can't wait to do one.
I can't wait to see it. For the first film, did you guys have any unscripted improv scenes that were included in the film?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Damien let me play around a lot, especially with certain things, like the pizzeria scene. I got to play around a lot with that one, especially with making different faces. And
yeah,
that's that. They like let the camera just roll, and they forgot to tell me to cut after like 5 minutes. Like, oh yeah, cut. I was just making face after face after face. They're like, oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like also the whole scene with me parading around, and I call it my Buffalo Bill scene with the wearing the skin.
Oh yeah,
that was all improvised. We did 2 different versions of that. One with me just bouncing around like some dumb woman, and another one is me with the baby doll.
Yeah,
nursing the baby doll, like my baby, and I came out with it like suckling on my fake boobs, and then I had the baby actually start telling me where Victoria was hiding. So I was doing a lot of puppetry with the baby doll.
Mm-hmm. That's so funny.
Whisper in my ear, then I would point her out or something like that. So it was really creepy, but they thought the one that's on screen was creepier.
Yeah, it was. And I like that scene actually, like you do such a good job of playing the clown, because obviously clowns are supposed to be like comedics too, they're supposed to be funny. So that scene when you had that wig on and that bodysuit on and just walking around the way you did, I was laughing so hard because I'm like, it's like literally just like a crazy clown, because clowns are funny, and he did such a good job.
Well, that's what I had. Like sometimes we're like, we don't want to get too silly with things, but at the same time, we're like, well, he is a clown.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to have that element to him. He's very childish.
Exactly.
He's pure chaos. So he's having fun doing all this stuff. This is fun for him.
Yeah.
He's playing.
Yeah.
So he's got to have that playfulness to him.
Oh, for sure. That's what makes him so sinister, I think, too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because he's having fun doing things that most people find extremely horrifying.
Exactly.
And it makes you think yourself as the viewer going, why am I laughing at this? I should not be laughing.
I know, exactly. Oh my gosh. How was it to film Terrifier? Like, what were the conditions of it? How long did it take you to shoot?
Oh, yeah. Well, we had a few setbacks, for monetary reasons and stuff like that. Also, like the building we were shooting in Trenton, we had some issues with the guy that owned the building wanting more money, even though he had signed a contract. So we had to stop shooting there, which delayed things. But that building was exactly as it was on film. That bathroom was that nasty.
Really?
We didn't add any of that dressing. That was all there.
That's pretty scary.
That place was nasty. Oh yeah, that building had no electricity, had no heat or anything like. Oh no, it had electricity. It didn't have running water in it.
Wow.
So we had an outhouse that we had to go use outside. We had to bring heaters and stuff like that in there for us. It was a pain with no running water, because like here we are covered in blood, and there's no way to wash it off, except we brought in gallon jugs of water just so we could sponge ourselves off.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting. It was like, It wasn't until we got to the second location where we filmed that on Staten Island, where we actually had heat and running water and all that. It was like, you don't realize what a godsend that stuff is until you don't have it.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
Yeah. We originally started filming in the fall, like October of 2015, and I think we kind of wrapped in early 2016. But then we decided that after we did a showing in Telluride, Colorado in 2016, we decided to add a few more scenes. So we ended up actually finally finishing the film, I think about April of 2017.
Wow.
I think I had 4 different days I was supposed to have wrapped on set, actually.
Really?
It's like, I had my wrap party party. The first thing they brought a cake out. The second one that they brought out a donut, and after they're like, "Oh well, we'll see you again at the next wrap party."
That's pretty funny. That's crazy though. That's like really impressive though. And I guess once in a while you do have to something didn't come up the way that they wanted it to. You didn't have to do reshoots and all that stuff. That's all that stuff.
Yeah, we actually had to reshoot the scene with the cops because the original cops that we had cast unfortunately did not look like cops. They looked like 20-year-old models.
Oh my god.
Yeah, actually, one of the guys we used as the cop actually is in the corner scene later on. The blonde guy, he's actually one of the guys we used as the cop.
Oh, really?
So it's like, yeah, he looked too much like a server dude than a cop. So we're like, dang, dang. So we had to reshoot that thing.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty funny. Inside facts.
Yeah.
I actually have a question. So I noticed one of the shots from the movie. It was an exterior shot. It was Victoria, I believe her name was. Remember correctly, Victoria. She was driving by the Always Sunny in Philadelphia pub. The exterior building.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so, did you guys film this in LA?
No.
Not
at all. That's weird.
No, I did my research after the film too, and it was that little warehouse building. It was I think it was 544, the number on the outside of the building. But that's the exterior building they use in Always Sunny in Philadelphia for the pub.
That's really strange.
I thought that was pretty funny.
That's really strange. Yeah, no, we shot all this like out in Trenton, New Jersey, Staten Island, and Long Island.
Really?
Yeah.
That's something to look into because I did my research after, and it's the exact same building. That's weird.
Interesting.
Maybe we'll have to ask Damien.
Yeah.
It's weird. Maybe he shot that scene before.
Are you talking about the exterior shot of the building that we had?
Yeah, on the film when she was driving by.
Huh. I'll have to go back and watch.
Yeah. Something to look into.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny because I watch that show all the time, so I know what it looks like. Then I did my research after. It was the same unit number and everything, and it was pretty funny, so that was it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That is nuts. Yeah, we didn't film any of it out there.
That's weird. We're gonna have to ask Damien then. I don't know. I want to know.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that now too. Yeah, we didn't film anything out in LA as far as I know.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of the horror genre?
Oh yeah. I was a little bit late to the game though. I didn't really get into it until my senior year of high school.
Really?
Because earlier than that, like my mom was a big chicken when it came to horror films, so she just didn't want to be shown in the house. Even though my dad sometimes would watch them on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, exactly.
So that kind of impacted me for a while. It's like, oh, mom's afraid of it, so it's got to be scary. And then like when Scream 2 came out, I was doing a show, and the rest of the cast was going to go out and see Scream 2 afterwards. And they're like, come on, Dave, don't be a chicken. I'm like, okay. I wanted to go see it, and I was like, oh, this is so much fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was scary, but this was fun. I was like, yeah, I want to see more. So like when I got to college, my roommate and I would just go to like the movie gallery and get like, stacks of horror films on tape and just watch them all over the weekend. So I was like, I have to catch up.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. Do you have a favorite horror movie?
Oh boy, there are a few of them. I mean, of course I like the classic ones like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Exorcist, of course, Omen, Nightmare on Elm Street. I love that whole entire series, but like number 3 is my favorite.
Oh, for sure.
Of course, the original Halloween. They're all really good. It's just
they
fun.
Are.
Of course, the Chucky films, Scream series, all that. They're just all fun for me.
Oh, for sure, they are. They're amazing.
Yeah. But like I said, we haven't really had anything like that very often since Scream. Slashers fun, but then those all got a little bit too convoluted plot wise.
Exactly.
Like, I have no idea what's going on anymore.
Exactly. It just goes all over the place. No, and you're definitely right because the slasher genre has been out for like it hasn't really been active in a long time. So it's nice to see it bring back old school with the practical effects and all that stuff. It's really nice to see for a change.
And you're seeing a little bit of it now, more so with the indie films, like Tragedy Girls was, that was a fun one. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed like The Babysitter recently, The Final Girls, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, there are people trying to bring it back.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Do you have any upcoming like projects that you're working on right now?
I'm still working on the web series Nightwing Escalation, where I play the Joker on that. So we're still filming the last season. I have a Hulu series I think coming out sometime soon. I don't know if I can announce it yet though, but I was in like maybe 2 episodes doing voices of a few critters and stuff like that. But it's got a lot of big name celebrities attached to it. So I wish I knew when I could finally announce that one though. But other than that, not really. And I'm just like, I'm hoping for Hollywood to come knocking on my door soon.
For sure. I'll keep my eye on what else you come out with because I'm excited. Do you have any upcoming cons that you're attending to meet fans and all that stuff that you would like to tell everyone?
Yeah, I'm going to this month. I'm going to be at Cult Classic Convention in Bastrop, Texas. It's where they actually filmed the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Wow,
which is going to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I'm going to be at Chiller in New Jersey next month at the end of October, which is going to be really awesome.
Wow.
And then I have some other ones booked for next year. I think I'm doing, they're not totally solid yet. I haven't signed contracts yet for them, but I think like I'm doing some of the Days of the Dead and stuff like that next year as well.
That's awesome. Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I had a few of the fan questions that came in. I'm going to ask those, and then we'll probably wrap it up maybe.
Cool.
All right, so Jenny on Facebook, she says, given the fact that Mike and Ellie first brought art to life and did such an amazing job, how much creative freedom did you have to further arts development as a lead in a full-length film?
I had a good bit of, creative freedom there. I'm like, oddly enough, most of what Mike originally did with the character, I would have probably done too.
Mm-hmm.
It just, that the character speaks to me that way. So he gave me a good springboard to, just build from.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great. And Damien gave me a lot of freedom too. I mean, there were certain things where he wanted things done in a certain way, especially, expression wise. So he would tell me, it's like, okay, I want this kind of facial expression for this. Like when I was shooting Jenna in the head, he's like, I want no facial expression, just dead eye, dead face. You're pissed and you're pure evil right now. I'm like, cool. And other times he's just like, you know what? Let's just play around and see what we come up with.
Exactly. Wow, very cool. Michael, a viewer subscriber, he says, how has it been seeing all the love that Terrifier and art have been getting?
How has it been?
Yeah. How has it been getting all the love that Terrifier is getting?
It's been wonderful. I'm like, it's totally surpassed my expectations. It's made me so freaking happy. Artwork and stuff like that. It blows my mind. It's so humbling, and it's because of the fans too that we have become such a success. It's like we've had very, very little mainstream press coverage. Like, nothing by IGN or Entertainment Weekly or any of those kind of, publications that said anything about us yet. So it's basically been through word of mouth and through podcast and, horror websites that the word has gotten out there. And, that's all because of the fans. It's those that actually love these type of movies that have been making this movie so successful, which is great.
Oh, for sure. And, even now interviewing you, I'm a big fan of the movie, and I like to get the word out and show people and like, oh, check out this movie because, it's an indie film. I know indie films are harder to make and harder to get the word out about, but I think you guys did a really good job, and you guys are getting recognized everywhere. And I saw artwork from Terrifier at a con I went to in Niagara Falls in June, and it's like it's crazy. It's nice to see all this love that this indie film's getting.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. It's wonderful. It's just it's because it means more because these are actually, it's all coming from people that love this genre.
Exactly.
Especially when I see the reviews, and the reviews from people that do love horror films and they're very happy with it. It's one thing. I've seen some negative reviews, but you can tell those reviews are written by people that really aren't into horror films in the first place. They don't get it. They don't understand what people love about it.
Exactly.
So whatever. But like those that love horror films have largely, given us great reviews.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's because we're horror fans ourselves, so we made the type of movie we wanted to see.
Exactly.
And we were just so worried, like, oh God, well, this is what we want, but how are the fans going to respond? Because this is for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes me happy, seeing the fans love it too.
Exactly.
Like, whew, okay.
No, you guys did a fantastic job. There's nothing wrong with the film at all. It was a fun ride. The practical effects were amazing. The acting was great. Everything was perfect. You guys did an amazing job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We have a couple last questions from another viewer. Her name's Jessica. She wanted to know what was the funniest thing that had happened on set.
We had a lot of fun on set. Like you wouldn't think it on a horror film. You'd be having so much, joking around and stuff like that. But yeah, there was a lot of hijinks happening. I think it's because we're all trying to keep ourselves sane.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
But I would say the funniest one was, I love to tell this story. It's one night where I think Jenna was filming, and hold on a second, I get water.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Get a little bit parched here. But she was on set, and so I was already in full makeup. I had blood on me. I think maybe it was like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I hear this argument happening outside the window where I am in the holding room. And so I'm just like, oh, I'm bored. I'm going to go see what this argument's about. I forget what I look like.
Oh.
I'm standing there watching this argument, these two ladies, and one of them looks up and just sees me, and I wave at her.
Oh my!
I totally forgot how I looked. And they both turn around and look at me, and they just scream and go running off. And I'm like, oh, oops.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Well, about 10 minutes later, Damien and our producer Phil come in and like, Dave, they're grinning from ear to ear, and they're trying not to laugh. Like, Dave, we got some guys out here that want to meet you, but don't come outside until we tell you. I'm like, okay. And so there's this we're filming this big huge garage, those big huge roll up garage doors, and so I'm on the other side of the door, and I hear, Dave, come on out. I'm like, okay. And I roll up the garage door, and I'm greeted to about 15 of New Jersey's finest on riot gear. And they just, and I just see that, and I just feel my balls just go right up inside of me. And I'm like, what's up, guys?
Oh my God.
Situation. And they just die laughing, like, we would have shot you on sight.
Oh my God.
I'm glad he didn't come out first. I'm like, yes. I am very glad. I'm glad I was not using the restroom when you guys showed up.
Oh my God. That's terrifying, but really funny at the same time.
What's that?
I said that's terrifying, but really funny at the same time because they weren't expecting that.
Oh, yeah. It was. It tells me a lot about the neighborhood we were in Trenton too. Oh, that's how they respond? Ooh, okay.
That's so funny.
Yeah, they're all like, getting their pictures made with me, except there's one copy's over there, and he's like, no, man, no, you're probably a nice guy, but no, I'm good. I can't stand clowns. I can't stand, they scare me. And I'm like, dude, you're the one with the assault rifle.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was so funny because like, yeah, dude, you're a huge boss guy and you're afraid of me.
That's really funny. Actually, that makes me think of another question. Actually, before I go to the last one from the viewer, how was the makeup process?
Mm-hmm. That was it was a pretty long process because that was all glued to my face. It was molded. They made a mold of my face that Damien sculpted, and then they glued it onto my face. So that took about 4 hours.
Wow.
Usually, sometimes less, sometimes more to put on because Damien was doing my makeup, so he would sometimes have to leave me to go set up shots or go film something. So, I mean, I remember like a few nights I would get in the chair about 4 in the afternoon, and I wouldn't get out of the chair until about midnight.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was a process. I mean, but that's how Damien and I did a lot of our bonding, and also just so much discussion about the character and stuff like that was during the makeup process.
Exactly.
So it was fun.
Yeah, it's very interesting too. I love seeing how all the makeup effects works. I was watching that time lapse that you got all the prosthetics put on you and all that stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah, it's just one big huge piece. But it's what it's made of, the silicone gel that's made of is wonderful because it allows me to use full range of expression with my face. So I mean, you can see every little thing I do, which is fantastic.
Exactly.
Loved it.
That's awesome.
Because that's one thing I was worried about. It's like, oh gosh, am I going to have something where like my face, you can't see what my face is doing because it's like a mask and it's just going to be one solid piece. But no, it was great.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it was so light too, so like I would forget that it was there.
Oh, that's good. That's good. At least it was comfortable.
I would scare myself in the bathroom mirror. I would be like, oh shit, that's me. That's just me.
Scare yourself. I'm gonna wrap it up with one more question from a viewer. Same viewer, Jessica. She asked if you had to film a movie of any genre with any actor or actress, dead or alive, who would it be, and what kind of movie would you like to do?
Oh boy, that's a wonderful question. I would probably want to do something with Robin Williams, a comedy, like play father and son or something like that.
Yeah,
he was a big source of inspiration for me growing up, and so that was the one person I always wanted to meet and never was able to meet. So yeah, I'll say something with Robin Williams. Yeah,
that'd be awesome. He was an amazing guy. He was an amazing actor.
Oh, that's what I hear. I've heard, especially after he passed away, so many people were telling all these different stories about him, about how he was in his real life with just everyday people, and I was like, God, he's just what a wonderful man.
For sure. Wow. Thank you very much, David, for all this information and let me interview you. It's been an honor, and it's very interesting to hear your life story and the process of filming and everything.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I love doing these interviews. They're just fun for me.
Oh, for sure.
I appreciate you just, helping us get the word out more.
Oh, for sure. I love the movie, and of course, I love spreading. If anything, if like movies or artwork or any like YouTube channels, or I like to support anybody that I think should get recognized because it's hard work putting in a film, and it's a long process. So we know it's a good film, so we want other people to see this film, and we want to support it.
Well, it's very much appreciated, not just by me, but like everybody involved with this.
Wow.
Yeah, we love every single one of y'all.
Thank you very much. We love you too. We love the whole fandom now. It's like become a fandom now, this film. So it's pretty amazing. And I'm sure we're gonna see more cool stuff coming on with the sequel coming out hopefully soon. And that should be cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And everybody, if anyone's watching that hasn't seen the movie Terrifier, please make sure to go check it out. Support the indie films that are coming out. And yeah, thank you very much, David. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today.
Oh, you're very, very, very welcome. Thank you for having me.
For sure. Well, I guess that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you, everybody, for watching tonight. And do you want to close anything off by saying anything, David?
No, just big thank you to every single one of you guys for supporting us. It's like I said earlier, it's because of you that we've been a success. We're making these films for you guys because we know how much you love the genre as much as we love the genre. So thank you for the support.
For sure, exactly. Well, that's it. Thank you very much, David. I'll hopefully I'll talk to you soon on social media and keep updated with everything.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, that wraps it up. Thank you everyone for watching tonight. And we'll see everyone later. Hope everyone has a great night. Bye now.
Bye.